Hello, this is Matter of Interpretation, Americans in Crisis with your teen host, Sydney Tucker. And now we're doing part two of the election of 2020. But before we get into that with our awesome guest, I am Mighty is going to pray for us, and then we're going to get started.
Okay. Let's bow our heads, I guess. Father, in the mighty name of Jesus, we thank you for bringing us here safely today, Father Lord. We thank you for this day that you have given unto us. We thank you for keeping us alive today, Father Lord. As we are on this show, Father Lord, we pray that this show goes amazing and that we have a wonderful time and that we have a good time. We laugh and we talk about everything we're supposed to and we stay on track. Amen.
Amen. Awesome. So, of course, since it's the election of 2020, part two, with a different guest, we're going to start with introducing yourselves.
Okay, so my name is Mighty David. I am a junior. I go to Wagner High School. What else about me? I'm on the youth implementation team, representing.
And what do you do there?
Well, the youth implementation team is basically like a council of youth, and we talk about like important things going on in our city, Louisville, of course, and we tell the mayor and how he can solve it, and we try our best to like make the city a better place for the youth and normal people, I guess.
Okay. So, moving on. So, what is your political view?
I am a Democrat.
Okay. And there are a ton of candidates, like 25. But some, of course, will drop out due to their 1% of voting and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm going to talk about the 4 strongest Democrats that are, of course, race, along with 2 Republicans, which is Trump and Bill.
Of course.
So, but do you feel that since there are 4 strong Democrats, that it'll affect and will actually hurt the Democratic Party?
I mean, it will definitely divide us because we'll have to choose out of a lot of people, and they all have different views that they're bringing and everything like that. So I guess it depends on your morals and what you actually believe in and what you feel like is an issue and if you like the way they plan on solving it. And it's another thing when they're saying what they're saying, because of course they'll say anything when they want to become a president.
Yeah.
But
pretty big position.
Literally. Yeah, so they'll say anything, but I feel like it will really depend on what they'll do when they get there. So all I can say is please choose wisely, okay? Even though it will definitely divide us, definitely divide us, yes.
Because
definitely.
this is 4 very strong candidates.
Very strong, yes. And we have a Black woman there, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you gotta represent her.
Yeah.
And so.
There's a ton of ways to go here.
Yeah.
4
ways.
Yeah. And then, of course, the 2 Republicans, Trump and Bill.
We will not speak of them, though.
Okay. So, we have to know first that this matters. So, this is why we need to be educated. This is why we need to be informed.
Mm-hmm.
Because this not only affects, just you, but your family, your community, this whole country. So, we need to focus on the government, the politics, of course, who is running, and their views. So, on this show, we're going to be talking about certain categories that are essential to talk about when talking about, of course, this type of thing, the election of 2020, presidents, presidential candidates. So we're talking about criminal justice, education, economy, gun control, and immigration. So starting with criminal justice. So I want to talk first on the topic of the cash bail system. So what are your initial thoughts?
Okay, so my initial thoughts on the cash bail system, I think it's unfair. It is very unfair. It is not fair that people that do have money are able to bail and poor people are left in jail. And did you know that California is trying to pass a bill and they're getting rid of the bail?
Wow.
Getting rid of it, and they're going to replace it with a risk assessment or something like that.
Yes.
So the risk assessment is basically so they'll see your age, how many times you've been to jail and everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
And depending on that, we'll see if you make it to bail or not. And I feel like if we could all head in that, well, of course, I want them to try it first and see
Yes.
if they mess up before we actually
experimental.
Exactly. Like you
Yes.
can try it out all you want. You know what I'm saying? We'll follow the lead and everything like that. But I feel like it's very unfair. Like, and it's not right. Like, cause who has 500 just sitting in the bank? Cause I know I don't. Like,
Yeah, I mean,
I don't even have $5 on me. Like, not to even talk about 500. Like, that's a lot of money just to like make bill. And you know, bill can like reach like to 4,000, like depending on like what you do. Like,
yeah.
so that's a lot of money, and not everybody can like just bring that out like that.
Yeah.
And I think it's unfair that like only rich people, well, let's not say rich people, but people that just have 500
money,
like
yeah.
lying around,
Yeah.
nothing to do with it, no
Yeah.
bills to pay or anything like that.
Yeah.
Of course, I think it's
Yeah.
unfair. So
Yeah. And like for what you've mentioned, there are 2/3 of people that are like are in jail, incarcerated, etc., that are below the line of poverty. 2/3, 2 whole thirds, and it's basically criminalizing poverty, which is terrible because you can't help that.
I mean, like it's like saying, oh, you're in jail because you're broke.
Yeah,
You don't have no money.
pretty much, and
Money at all.
it's terrible. But what you were talking about the risks, the different alternatives for the cash bail, is actually one of my points. The risk trial assessment. So having, it's kind of like a diagram. If you put it as a diagram, you're either a person who has the money or doesn't, and both of you have maybe like committed a crime. And so it's either cash or it's the risk assessment. With the cash, you either have it or you don't. With the risk assessment, it's either they let you free, like due to the, how long you've been in jail, your background and everything. If you're in jail, you go to jail, either in jail, you're set free and released, or you have those certain conditions. And with those certain conditions, like that box to check, there has been some things that people say that it's a little biased. And I'm like, how's it a little biased? So it's a little sketchy. But definitely the consequences, like when it comes to those conditions, are really helpful, because when you're sent to jail, who's going to take care of your children? Who's going to be at home and take care of all that business and your job?
And especially, like, there's a lot of teens going to jail, especially juvie and everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of teens going to juvie and everything like that, and most of them are running away from their homes and everything. So, like, their parents don't even know that they're there, and you expect them to just appear with the money.
Oh my goodness. So we're working on it.
We got a lot of things to work on.
Yeah.
You want to talk about that.
You're right, but that's why it's important to educate ourselves on the 2020 election and what we're going to do about it. But around 1/3 of the candidates tend to end the cash bail. Ms. Harris, the Democrat that's reforming, has like 99% of the votes, with the former district attorney and her legal background. Of course, she has the district attorney and the legal background type thing. So it's a little interesting.
I mean, like, I'm going to go back to what I said. It's one thing to say it when you're running for election, but it's another thing to actually do it when you actually become president. I don't want to vote for you because you said you're going to do this, 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 and this, and then you get up there and you don't do nothing at all.
Exactly.
Like, I don't want that to happen.
Yeah.
So please don't lie to me. Don't lie to me. Like, if you say you're going to do it, please do it. Like, that's all I care about.
But some people say politics is basically a game. It's like a sport. It's like who's gonna win, why they win, etc. And the thing is, we can't play with people's lives, because life is real, the struggle is real, and we need the answers, and we need them now. So that is pretty interesting. So moving on with the category of criminal justice, I want to talk about the cocaine sentencing disparities. So basically, it's the it's the same drug, cocaine, in two different forms. And one is getting more punishments, more consequences than the other. So many are still deciding, but the top Democratic candidates, Joe and Bernie, are saying basically scrap it. But what are your like initial thoughts on this?
Okay, so there's actually something called the Fair Sentencing Act, and it's supposed to reduce the sentencing. But I feel like the act is actually there, like it's actually there, but people just aren't following it. So I feel like if maybe you could enforce it, if they can enforce it and actually make it known that yes, there is something, there is like, you actually have to like judge fairly, you actually have to do that. Maybe if they could make it known, then maybe it wouldn't be as big of a problem. Because it's actually there, it's called the Fair Sentencing Act. Like you're actually supposed to like judge fairly.
Yeah.
And they're not doing that. Yeah. And if you want to speak about judging fairly, cocaine's not the only thing they're not judging fairly about. Like, they're not judging fairly on race, they're not there's so many things they're not judging fairly on. So, at this point, erase all the judges. Like, they're all, no, they can't. Like, they're not following what they're supposed to be doing.
Yeah, of course. And I've mentioned this during the last time, but I love listening to people's views and opinions, just genuinely. And I've listened to some ex-felons say that basically it's inconsistent. The sentencing and how many years you get and just the time you get in general is inconsistent. Because if someone maybe commit the same crime, they may get different sentencing depending on their circumstance, depending on the judge as well.
And depending on their race also, and ethnicity. Like, so many things are put into judging for a crime. Like, it should be the same amount, even though, like, okay, I'm not gonna say like, okay, let's say if like, God forbid I do cocaine, but like, let's say if I did cocaine and I went to jail for it, I did my time, came back, and I went to jail again for of course you have to give me more time.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because like less is not learned.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah.
But at the same time though, like, it's supposed to be fair. Like, please don't mistreat us like that, because that is mistreating. That's years of our lives going away like that. You know how many things we could do. And then another thing is, like, once we get out, you know how hard it is to like find a job, to get our life back on track. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So you can't just take away our life like that because of our ethnicity, because of the cocaine. You can't do that, because that's not fair. That's not right. That's,
of course.
immoral, basically.
Lives matter. Lives matter.
All lives matter.
Yes, all lives matter. From
like,
the people that is in position to the people that are here.
Yes.
Like
we all matter.
We all need a say in our community. And this is why it's so important to get engaged in politics, get engaged in who's in that position.
And get your education.
Education,
right. People.
You're right.
So important.
But I love how you brought up race, because African Americans are actually affected in much higher rates than other groups.
And it's actually known that like most people that are doing cocaine are actually African Americans, which I believe is incorrect, because I see more not to be mean or anything like that, but I see more white people doing cocaine. I've never met a black person doing cocaine in my life, but you know they say the stats don't lie.
We'll have to see about that. We'll have to research more about it.
Exactly. Yeah. I've never seen anything, but you know.
Yeah, most definitely. That's something to consider. That's definitely something. And so do you believe in actually just scrapping it? Just scrapping the having the same drug but just two different forms, having be punished for the other more than.
I think it's wrong to have the same do the same drug and like be punished more for
exactly. That's what I was
thinking. Incorrect. So scrap it.
That's what I'm thinking.
Throw it away.
Yeah. Thank you, Bernie and Joe. But so moving on to education and the topic of teachers' pay. There has been pensions, there has been protests and the strike movement, of course, and now the concern is teachers.
My summer got cut.
Your summer got cut.
No,
pretty much.
I'm
it's
so
affecting
salty
students.
about that.
Yeah.
My summer got, but, you know,
it's affecting students as well.
I love my teachers though, so you know, it was worth it, I guess.
Yeah. You guess.
I guess, you know,
okay.
There's a lot of things I could have done with those 2 days that you took away from me.
It's okay.
I could have slept more, definitely, but you know. I'm not complaining though. You know,
No.
you
Yeah.
do a lot for me, so I appreciate you guys.
Yeah, peace. Yeah. But yeah, the concern now is the teachers' inadequate pay and the classroom conditions. So nearly all the Democrats wanted to boost the pay. But do you believe that teachers should have the additional tax credits, or do you believe that they should just boost the teacher pay, and why?
I think you should just boost the teachers' pay, because doing all that tax stuff is way too complicated. It's doing too much. Like, if you could just boost their pay and just call it a day. You see, I'm spitting bars out here. You said,
Yeah, I see you.
You see me. But like, I just think you should just boost the pay, because like that's the easiest way. And like, and I'm not saying like boost them like $1.50. No, no, we're not talking about that. We're talking about like at least a reasonable amount.
Yeah.
Because they do a lot for us. They teach our
really
children. They educate our children, because you know these children are not educated. Like, I pray for them.
They need that education.
Literally, like, have you seen kids like walking around? I'm just like, oh my God, you poor thing.
But the thing is, the bottom line is teachers teach us. We are all trying to learn. We're all trying to get educated on life, trying to get jobs that require like masters, bachelors, etc. So just getting up on that, education and having those professors and those teachers that help us along the way. And their job of not only in the classroom but outside the classroom.
Because in all honesty, when school is in, you do spend more time with your teacher than you do with your parents.
Wow, I haven't even thought of it like that.
You spend more time with your teacher than you do with your parents. Like, if you think about it, like I'm in school from like school opens at 7. You don't get out there until 2:30, and then your mom's just coming back from work around that time, so she's going to sleep. So you don't really see your parents like that. You see your teacher more, and I think it's wrong for you to be underpaying them for
doing such a big job.
Exactly, that's a big job that they have. They're teaching.
It's a very insightful position of like having helped the children in their futures, and we are the future.
You ain't got nobody else to rely on, so like, you better pay the people that are helping us. Because if you don't, then they gonna be mad at us, and then we're gonna be dumb. So like, I don't want to be dumb. So like,
you're right. I don't think anyone wants to.
Exactly.
At least by choice. So no, but we just need to take that into consideration.
A lot of consideration.
So along with teachers, students are also having a hard time with student debt.
Because we broke.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. As a college student, I get it. We are drained out. Someone that's not wealthy, but, which is very common.
It is.
There are 45 millions of Americans that owe $1.6 trillion in debt. Yes. I know. So as a student, on a mission, get your knowledge, your education, and everything, how do you feel this should be handled? Because there's a ton of ways that, the candidates are planning on doing this.
So one candidate says that 2 years of college should be free. Okay.
So paying some college debt.
Paying some. I don't think that they should pay all, because we are 18. You know what I'm saying? Well, not we. Well, I'm not there yet.
Well, yeah.
Okay, but
I get it. Yeah.
They are 18 years old. So like basically, they're 18. They're legal adults. They should be able to work some. You need to at least let them tip their toe in the water into adulthood a little bit. But the money is just too much. We shouldn't have to pay that much for school.
Yeah.
We're learning to benefit the world. You know what I'm saying? Some people want to become doctors and everything like that. And you know how much work a doctor has to do?
Yeah.
A lot of work. And
we gotta pay for all. Yeah.
When you get. And we gotta pay?
Yeah, we gotta pay for all that.
We gotta pay and we're saving lives?
Really,
no.
But the thing is,
that's doing too much.
Being a doctor, of course, it's a high-paying job.
It is a high-paying
And so they're expecting for that position, and going into that field, that when you have a high-paying job, and you get that income and everything that you can automatically pay.
But do you know how hard it is to get a job like that, though?
Exactly.
Jobs don't just fall from the sky.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta apply. There's gonna be some months that you're gonna be broke, struggling to find a good, decent job that will be paying you enough.
Mm-hmm.
And what do you expect us to do with all the debt that you done left sitting in our imaginary bank accounts, because we ain't got no money in there?
Yeah.
So like,
I don't know. I don't know where it is, but yeah, I get
maybe
it.
it'll fall out from the sky like they expect a job to. Like maybe both will come at the same time. Like
I get it.
But I think it's wrong. Maybe 2 years of like free college, and I pray they do it by the time I get to college, because I am definitely gonna be broke when I get to college.
Yeah,
because-
yeah. I can't say
Like,
nothing else.
Literally.
Yeah,
But
just
I think-
scrapping for those scholarships, scrapping for those grants, whatever you can get.
But then a big major problem is that the scholarships aren't also, they're not as easy to get either,
Mhm.
because colleges, they're looking for like that well-rounded, that really like good put together. Where is a good put together student? Have you ever met one? No, like let's be honest, I have never met a like put together like, oh, I have everything ready. I've never met one of those. I've never met a student
It's
like
rare.
that. It's really rare, and like you have to work your butt off
Mm-hmm.
to get to that point.
Yeah.
And then you have to also write. What about the people that are immigrants that just got to America? What are you gonna do with
It's
them?
all about the circumstance too. Yeah.
What are you
I
gonna
get
do
it.
with them? Like, how are they gonna get their scholarships
Mhm.
if they can't even read or write? Like, no, I just feel like all this thing is just.
That's actually the first time that I've really actually thought about that you brought that to my attention.
It's not. Okay.
Wow.
I feel like it's wrong, because me as an immigrant also, I have to think about my fellow immigrants. Not everybody is as fortunate as me,
Mm-hmm.
as I came in with the citizenship, because you know my dad came in with the citizenship also, but not all immigrants come out like that. And not to talk about how hard it is just to get a visa.
Wow. Yeah.
Oh my! And you expect us to get a whole scholarship to pay for all of our no, at this point we
This is not
can't.
just looked at. It's not going to
We
happen.
can't. You just can't.
Yeah.
We can't make it there. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not saying that like there aren't that will strive for that, but it's a long way. That's a long, long way to make it. Like, dude, just think.
The
of
struggle's
it.
real.
Yes.
The lives are real. Yeah,
Yes.
it matters.
Like,
Yeah. To
just
consider
give us-
this.
Just give us that 2 years. Just give us that 2 years, man, and we will be very great. You know how much we can do at 2 years? People can like. I think how much is like a beauty? I think that's like, I don't know.
I actually
to get
don't know.
become a beautician or something like that.
Yeah, it's
But I feel like 2 years can cover that. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, that's what I'm
so,
thinking.
like, you can at least get like some petty job for like a 2 year.
Yeah, most definitely. I know a person. He got his associates his first 2 years, and he went to. He had a job.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't his favorite job in the world,
Of course.
but he worked up. He worked up to it to get his job that God wanted him to have and that he wanted.
Mm-hmm.
And so I feel like that is a great inspiration.
Yeah, of
because
course, yeah.
yeah, he went through college, but he didn't get all of his degrees,
But he
his
didn't get-
master's,
yeah.
bachelor's, doctorate. He didn't get all that.
But
But he had
worked
2
his-
years
yeah.
and he worked,
Up to
he
it,
worked.
yeah, of course.
and he works extremely hard.
And most of these immigrants, they are hard work. If you give them like 2 years of free college, do you know what they can do with that?
You gotta get the best of it, yeah.
They can do anything with that. Anything with that.
Mm-hmm.
Like literally. And all the people that can't even afford college, you know what they can do with 2 years? That's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
You can get like not a lot of money, of course, but like you can at least get something.
Yeah.
And I think it's
Most
wrong
definitely, all of
that
that.
we're paying for education that we deserve.
Yes.
You want us to be stupid in the world?
No.
Exactly.
But yes, that's definitely something to consider, though.
Of
That's
course,
something to
yeah.
consider. But again, there are some sides that candidates are, if or about, because they're kind of scattered around. So some are saying cancel some student debt, which is what you're saying. Your position is on. Then there's expand of fixing existing debt relief programs, which is the popular one. Oh, you're nodding your head.
Like, if we want debt relief, what is the point of us being 18? Like, you're
Okay.
18, you know, you are you're an adult.
So
at
you
that
need
point.
responsibility.
You need
You need to build that
responsibilities.
responsibility.
You can't get everything handed to you in life. If that's how it was, then everyone would be a millionaire. If we all got what we wanted, then we would be the best people in the, like, we would be spoiled.
Yes.
But that's not how it's meant to be. We are meant to work for what we need. And I feel like as an 18-year-old, you should be able to work for some things that you need. Like, would you expect them to pay for your food also? Like, no, that's not how it works. You need to be able to work and work your butt off and get to that point. Like you said, that, like, he worked his way up there. And I feel like everyone should be able to work their way up there. Like,
I love how you say that point. You say that and you get that explanation because people really need to hear. I need to hear this because I've learned from just talking to you in this chair. But I'm going to move on to talk about gun control. So there are a lot of debates, experience, opinions, and even confusion. So where do you lie when it comes to gun control?
I feel like the gun is not the problem. The gun is definitely not the problem. At this point, the gun is not the problem. Are you going to tell me that a gun is standing right there and it will just kill you like that? You'll just die. You'll just die from seeing the gun. No, the gun is not the problem. The people are the problem. The person in control of the gun is not the problem. I mean, the person in control of the gun is the problem.
Yeah.
Like, a gun is not just going to kill you if you just see it sitting on a chair. But a gun will kill you if someone is holding the gun and someone has to pull that trigger and kill you.
So do you believe in long, extensive background checks?
I mean, like, what is background checks gonna do? What is background checks gonna do, like, at this point? Like, no one, I feel like guns shouldn't be accessed for civilians. Like, police and everything like that, even though police brutality is like a big thing, like, oh my god, like, a police is gonna like act on you know, especially for us black, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time though, you can defend yourself with a knife.
Yeah.
You can defend yourself with a knife.
Yeah.
Like, what?
I mean, it's not common, right?
It's
At
not
least
common.
nowadays, you know, the mass shootings.
Everybody wants to
but
pick up a gun because the gun
Yeah.
is like the thing that is so access. Like, you have access to it.
Yeah.
Like, at my age,
Like at 18.
I can go and get a gun myself.
No training
Nothing.
programs or
Nothing.
anything are mandatory.
I can
They're
get
not
a
set
gun.
in place. Yes.
I can get a gun.
Yes. Not for free, but you can get a gun.
Literally, if I save up enough money.
Yeah.
But I'll still be broke after I get the gun because I
Yeah.
get a lot of money. But like,
Yeah.
I can still get one.
And the last question, I want to move on to immigration, which we have talked somewhat about it. The wall and you know, Trump is popular for the wall, etc., and the idea of it. So, what do you feel how should it be dealt with? Is the last question I would say.
I feel like immigrants, okay, I feel like the problem with immigrants is because they're coming in illegally. I don't understand why you would want to come into a new place and you want to start off by breaking the law. I don't know why. I don't know what reason they have. Maybe they're running from a war. Maybe something's always going on. But I feel like if America is truly the melting pot, why is it so difficult for us to come in? Why is it difficult for us to come in? If you are truly willing and accepting of everybody, why are we as immigrants struggling to make a life for ourselves? We're all people. We're all human beings. We all have our own fears, and clearly they're running from something that's back at their home. Maybe poverty and everything like that. There's stuff going on, and they're running from it. So why aren't we accepting them? I understand you have to go through background checks to come into America and everything like that, but still though, like, it shouldn't be that hard. It shouldn't be that difficult.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, I love that you came on the show, as an immigrant, and of course, you know, support the fellow immigrants. I appreciate
us Nigerians,
that.
You know what I'm saying? West Africa. Okay.
But seriously, thank you so much for your opinion for the election of 2020. This has been Sydney Tucker, teen host, Matter of Interpretation, Americans in Crisis. This has been part 2. This has been Our Efforts Plus God's Grace. Thank you for watching.